Meldon Law Friends. This is my first time hosting it, so y'all bear with me a little bit, but a few upcoming events that we have going on here with Meldon Law. The Alzheimer's Association. This year, Mr. Jeffrey and his wife Patricia, they're co-chairing the executive committee for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. That event is on October 21st, 2023. It's going to be held at the Trinity Methodist Church in Gainesville. I believe registration starts at 9 a.m. The ceremony is going to be at 10 a.m. and the walk follows that. This year, their goal is to raise $140,000, so we're going to need a lot of support there. We're going to need a lot of people to show up, a lot of help wherever we can get it. For more information on that event, you can reach out to actact.alz.org. Be sure to keep an eye out for that on our Facebook page at Meldon Law, and we will be posting updates on fundraising progress as we get closer to the event date. Also, y'all don't forget we have the Florida Georgia VIP Experience for 2 giveaway. If you go to our Facebook page, you enter our Florida Georgia VIP Experience for 2 giveaway. You and a guest can win 2 tickets to the Florida Georgia game, 2-night stay at the Doubletree by Hilton, dinner for 2 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. On that Friday night, 2 passes to the Gator Hospitality event, a Meldon Law Gator duffel bag, and the coolest, in my opinion, would be a football sign by Coach Napier. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Another thing that we, just to mention, I hosted Jasper Rowe on here last week. He's still doing his thing downtown Gainesville. That's on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then at 5 o'clock on Saturdays. Y'all keep him in mind if you want to get involved with that at all. That's one of those projects that I've taken on personally. I try to get out there on Thursdays to see Jasper, so if y'all have any interest in that, feel free to pass through. Now, the other thing that I always like to mention, Meldon Law's practice areas. At Meldon Law, we like to help everyone in the North Central Florida community that have been injured as a result of a serious accident. We do cars, motorcycles, buses, trucking accidents, whatever you can think of. We also do slip and falls, trip and falls, whatever else. Any kind of injury claim. Consultations are absolutely free. You can come into our office. You can meet with us in person. We're happy to do that. We're also here for second opinions. If like a doctor or anything else, if you feel like you need a second opinion, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to look through what you've got. Happy to give you our take on what it is. That's something that we're offering now. Again, all these consultations are free. Also, I personally work in the criminal department. We're happy to check out any case you have for that as well. Anything from the biggest stuff, racketeering, whatever else type of charges, to a DUI, to a disorderly conduct. We do student conduct hearings through the university if need be. Keep us in mind for any of those services. We are local. We have offices in Gainesville, Ocala, and Lake City. A lot of our attorneys and our staff are all local. So y'all keep us in mind and get back to us if you need anything. Thanks.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit?
At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us!
Here we go again.
Hi there, this is Head Ball Coach Steve Spurrier, and I'm here with my wife Jerry and our good friend Sherry Houston, the Executive Director of the Ronald McDonald House Charities of North Central Florida. We're thrilled to announce that the 2-year anniversary of our restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, is coming up on August 14th. Last year we had so much fun celebrating with everybody that we're doing it bigger and better this year. We're hosting a special dinner and celebration that will include a chef's choice of premium buffet or your favorite Spurrier Gridiron Grill menu, including a filet mignon carving station, shrimp and grits, short rib risotto, wonderful seafood options, and many dessert options also.
Like my famous chocolate chip cookies.
Proceeds being donated to the local Ronald McDonald House.
Thrilled to once again partner with Coach Jerry and the Spurrier Gridiron team to raise funds for the Ronald McDonald House, benefiting families and children experiencing medical emergencies.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill will be donating 11% of all of our money from food and 66% of drink sales to the Ronald McDonald House.
Go to spurriers.com right now and reserve a ticket before they sell out.
We'll have wonderful food, special guests, and a limited edition of the 2nd year anniversary collector's coins, as well as prizes like a dinner with me and Jerry. We couldn't have become one of the busiest and most successful restaurants in the Southeast without your support. So we want to celebrate with the most important people of our team, and that's you.
I want to celebrate with some of those cookies. Do you have any of those?
Sure do. Right here for you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Lot Bullock, and we're back again. We have Mr. Robert Hansen. He is the owner of Hansen Electrical Services out of Ocala. How you doing today?
Good. How are you today?
Doing all right. So tell us a little bit about Hansen Electric.
Hansen Electric is an electrical contractor out of Ocala, Florida. We work in Marion, Alachua, Citrus, Levy counties, among others. We do commercial, residential, and service work. Our main thing is new construction as well as remodels.
Cool. So commercial, how big of commercial jobs have you done?
The biggest commercial projects we like to do are usually restaurants, Zaxby's, Burger Kings, things of that nature. We've done some larger projects with some other clients. We've done Phoenix's Woods expansion. We maintain some factories down in Bushnell and different things of that nature, but we like to stay in that about $2 million range as far as contracts go.
Cool.
Get in, get out, easy.
Makes sense. So how did you get started doing electric work?
So I was offered a job. A family friend of ours had an electrical company, and when I was 16, we got a pool put in. He came and he wired up the electric pumps and stuff like that. He actually offered me a job, and I was still in high school playing football and everything. And my senior year, when football ended, my dad came to me and said, if Kevin was serious about that job, you ought to call him. So I called him up and said, hey, are you serious about offering me the position? He said, yeah, come on. So I started working for him. I was still a senior in high school with OJT, and I would get out of school about 10 a.m., give him a call and say, hey, he'd say, hey, go meet this guy at this job here, go meet him here. And then about the time I was about to graduate high school, I went to him and said, I don't think I really want to be an electrician anymore. This isn't what I really thought it was going to be. And,
a little too many hot days, huh?
Yeah. But I grown up doing construction work, and I actually wanted to be like a project manager for a construction company. And just happened to do something on my own at my house, my parents' house, wiring up their well or something, and then got to do the figuring out, the thinking and all that. And I was like, this electric stuff's not that bad. So I ended up kind of saying, hey, I think I do want to keep trying to do this, and I kept at it. And it's been rewarding, to say the least. I really enjoy it. The nice thing about electric work is you're always learning. And a lot of, you think, you look at roofers, they're just kind of nailing things on. You look at framers, they're just putting 2x4s together. Electrical, we're constantly learning something new. You're seeing something, well, I've never dealt with that before. So it's challenging and it's rewarding, in that way. It's not just kind of like probably law, you're
Every
you're
day.
seeing
Every
something
day.
new, you're learning something new. It's not the same old every day, just.
You probably get some interesting stuff off the reworks, right? When you have to rewire and
Yeah,
something like that.
it has been really cool. We actually, you'll find things in walls. We found, I don't know if you play golf or golf fan.
Not much, but
we were doing a project one time and found a newspaper inside the walls, and it was actually a newspaper article on Bobby Jones. That's how old it was. I mean, it was, he had just won an Open or something like that. And, you think about it, the guy was probably just working that day and threw the newspaper in the wall and covered it up. And the things you find, we found at one time an old, we've actually got it hanging in our office, an old permit that had been passed, where the inspection from like 1969. So it is really cool sometimes when you open up a house and you see those older
construction,
whatever's in the way they did things. Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So y'all are out of Ocala, right?
We're out of Ocala.
And how long have you been there?
I was born and raised in Ocala. We opened in 2011, and we've been electrical contractors since I want to say about August of 2011.
Cool. So, I guess you've been based out of Ocala the whole time,
Yes,
right?
sir.
What's the plans for the future? You trying to expand? You trying to stay put? You got a 5-year goal?
We're kind of staying put. The 5-year goal would be to create more opportunities for our employees.
Cool.
Create better opportunities for them. Give them more of a chance to maybe where I take a step back in the management position and offer them more of a management role where they're they're running the projects where I'm kind of maybe just a business owner in that way. So obviously they can make more.
You can worry about drumming up business and traveling around.
Exactly, yeah.
They can worry more on the actual jobs themselves, right?
Exactly, right. And they can grow with Hansen Electric and they can get better and kind of lead the company into that next step because electrical is getting more and more advanced every day with things we have to do as far as dimming lights and the low volt systems, with the smart switches and all that. It's amazing.
Never would have thought about that. What does that entail? So like you got, you talk about the dimming, I guess you have to put on
you think about it when you're at home and you turn your light switch on, it seems so simple, and then you just move that little dimmer up and down and the lights get darker or brighter. Right. But there actually is a lot to it. You've got different ways of doing that. They've got low volt dimming, 0 to 10 volt dimming. They've got dimming banks. And we've done, now with these new switches where you see the keypads and different Wi-Fi switches and things of that nature.
I guess everything, even the little USB ports and all that's just different than the standard just wiring in a socket, right?
And it's just getting, smarter and smarter, and who knows where it's going to be in 10 years when you think about it.
How about something I would have never thought of, but I'm sure you probably see it a lot? Electric cars and your new grids for all that. I mean, that's got to affect how you build these places, right?
It does in a way, and unfortunately, it's not something that gets thought of a lot on houses, especially. With the electrical grid is a completely different system. You're talking about linemen and engineers and power companies as far as that goes. But when you start talking about the house and having that 50 amp plug in a house, a lot of architects, because what we do a lot of times is based off what the architect or the engineer designs on paper, and then we're installing it. And you've got to be, you have to think about those things. Hey, do you plan on having an electric car? Do you plan on doing this?
Things we wouldn't have thought of 5-10 years ago, right?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, and the way we did houses, I'll give you a perfect example. When I first started, every bedroom we ran a phone wire to, and every bedroom we ran a TV wire to. Yeah. We don't do that
Haven't done that in a long time.
We put one phone line in a house to probably either a kitchen or an office for the internet, and a lot of times nowadays we're not even putting TV lines in those bedrooms because everything is Wi-Fi, everything is wireless.
Interesting. So that gives you, I guess in some ways it gives you a little more flexibility though, right?
It does. That's something we have to think about a lot of times is, hey, do you run a home office out of your home, or do you Is it an older couple? Because the older couples, they're not really always into that Wi-Fi. They do want the regular old landline phone and the regular coax cable or whatever it may be, hard
Just for
line.
sake of
They're not on, your YouTube TVs. They're not streaming things. So.
That was one of the most interesting. My grandpa just passed, and I remember when we were cleaning out the house, I was shocked that he actually had YouTube. He'd done away with his direct. And I was like, whoa, who'd have thought that would ever happen?
He's actually streaming things that you want to.
Not really sure how he figured all that out. Okay. So I guess, here's another question I always try to ask people, business owners, whatever else. A kid trying to get into the electrical stuff. Well, do you have any advice, suggestions? How do you get them going on something?
So the great thing about Marion County is we actually have FEA, or Florida Electrical Apprenticeship Program, and we actually have 3 employees that are in the apprenticeship program. And the requirements are you had to graduate high school or have a GED, and you have to work for an FEA approved member electrical company, which most electrical contractors in Ocala, there's a good portion of those. And I didn't bring the information for that. I wish I would have, now that you brought that up.
We can always post that online, right?
Yeah, and that is a great way for these young men and women to get into the electrical trade, because you start out at year 1. And it's basically a 4-year apprenticeship program, and you go through it. And the nice thing about it is, we pay for it. The only thing that they have to pay for are their books. We pay. So
that's you bring them on. That's part of their salary, or how does that work?
No, it's 100% separate from their salary. We don't deduct it or anything like that. It's actually paid for by us.
Cool.
The only thing is, our agreement is you have to finish the year, or you have to pay us back. If you don't finish it, you're going to have to pay us back. But we've never had an issue with anybody not finishing that year.
Cool.
And honestly, we've not had an issue with anybody not completing the 4 years.
So when you say it's an apprenticeship, that's a learn by doing type of thing,
yes,
right?
It's a school. They actually go 2 nights a week, depending on what year you're in. You're either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And it runs right in line with the regular school year. Like, my guys are getting ready to go. It'll start back in, I think, right at Labor Day. You've got a Christmas break. You've got Thanksgiving break. You've got spring break.
Just like college or whatever.
Just like college or anything else. Yep.
But you can actually make a living while you're doing it.
And they actually make a living while you're doing it. And most electrical contractors will pay for you to go to while you're going to it. It's not something you have to pay for.
So I guess with each year, they probably give you a little more responsibility.
Each year you get more responsibility, and that's obviously based on your certain employer and who you're working for, and your ability as an electrician. But they have a pay scale that's set off of your year.
Is that by the employer? Or is that by the
That's
school?
actually by the school, and
Interesting.
the employer will match that. Basically. The first year is, you may start out at $12.50, and every semester you get a raise. So by the time you graduate, you come out as a journeyman electrician, and you'll be making, I believe, somewhere from $23 to $30 an hour, depending on.
I'm guessing that's a little different than 2011, right?
way different. Yeah.
Okay. Now, y'all encourage the apprenticeship stuff?
We do.
I'm assuming that is kind of an indicator. Do y'all promote from within? Do y'all?
We do. Yeah, we do. We like to promote from within. In fact, we are very family oriented. I try to be life happens. All my guys come to me, hey, we've got a problem. I can't come to work. I got to take care of my kid. I always try to keep that in mind. Job is second to life. I understand that. We've got things to get done, but at the same time, you've got to give some leeway to these
what's
guys.
Good to having the money if you ain't got the family.
You've got to have these guys, they've got, especially with daycare and things of that nature, is getting more expensive. And then on top of that, you've got guys who their wife works. Their wife can't take off for the whole week, so they've got to split it. Hey, man, I got to take off Monday. My wife's going to take off Tuesday. Those kind of things. And you have to think about that. It's not... what it was 30, 40 years ago when it was just dad worked, mom was at home.
Single income house.
Exactly. Right? You've got to work with your employees. It's not, which we try to do that with our employees. We try to treat them like family. We try to treat them the way we'd want to be treated as an employee. employee. I mean, we've all worked for that guy who,
Doesn't
if you're
wanna
not
work
here,
with
if
you.
you're not here on Monday, you're fired. You know,
Right.
we've all worked for that guy, and no one wants to work for that guy. You know, I want to make sure when my guys wake up in the morning, they want to come to work. They're not gonna. None of us want to wake up every morning and can't wait to get to work. But there's gonna be days you don't want to. But I want to make sure most days, hey man, I'm happy to go to work. I can't wait to get there. It's a fun, you know, and that's what, you know, that's going to make life better for them, for us, for everybody. If you're happy working. If you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to do it better.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about, excuse me, family oriented. You got kids yourself?
I do. I got 2 boys. I've been married for 13 years, and I got a 8-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Either one of them wanting to be an electrician?
They talk about it sometimes. My oldest is actually, he's on a Marine kick right now. He's talking about becoming a Marine. And my youngest talks about taking over the company, but he's 8 years old, and we'll see.
Little ways
we'll
out,
see
right?
what changes in the next 10 years.
Well, you know, not too far off. You started at 17, you know, not even 10 years. So we'll see, I guess, right? Okay, so what else you like to do?
I like to, you know, being from Florida, I like to hunt and fish and play golf.
Where are you hunting at?
We've got a lease in Fort McCoy, but lately we've been traveling a lot out of state to Oklahoma. I've actually got a hunt scheduled with a good friend of mine. We're going bow hunting in September to Kentucky.
Cool.
And then we'll be back out in Oklahoma.
My family's been in that Gulf Hammock Hunting Club for
generations
and generations, right?
Yeah, we've got some people over there.
And I'll tell you the one I've been interested in trying to check out. I haven't got it, but the St. Vincent Sandbar hunt. I don't know if have you ever seen that?
I've heard of that one. I know guys who have done that.
I've been trying to get Ian on board to do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can figure that out.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. Yeah, they've got those things look like elk almost.
Right.
Yeah.
It's some kind of sandbar deer.
Yeah,
But I didn't know they existed till a few years ago. Now I've been trying to get a crew together to actually go do it.
Yeah, that would be a fun one to do. But yeah, probably done a lot of hog hunting, of course.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. I got a dozen dogs, man. That's my favorite thing to do. Yeah. So what else about the company? Is there anything else you tell me about that? Anything you think we should address here while we're on?
I mean, I'm kind of bashful, I guess, when it comes to talking about it. I mean, we've been very blessed and very lucky, and we've been very successful, but I don't really like to, it's always kind of weird.
I got you.
Weird situation.
Well, to bare minimum, do this for me. Let's put out here how people would need to contact you. What's your contact information?
Contact is at Hansen Electric Service. Phone number is 352-502-5454 is my number. We've got a office line. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but that will reach our secretary. And like I said, we do mostly commercial, residential, and a little bit of service work.
So service work, you mean like repair stuff?
Repairs, panel changes, things of that nature, adding lights, taking out lights, things of that.
And then, new construction, so if somebody's building their house, they can reach out to you?
New construction, we work for builders directly. We also, homeowners, if they want, call us and say, hey, we want you to do our electric. This is our builder. We've got a relationship with most builders, even if we don't actually do work for them. Mm-hmm. We know them, or we've done work with them in the past. That way,
we've been here long enough to build a rapport with them, right?
We know this guy. We did the electric in his house, but hey, we kind of do it as a one-off because we knew that person, and they asked that we do.
Or like my parents put in a generator for when the storms come. Y'all could do something like that.
We do whole home generators.
Shops, whatever else, right?
Warehouses, your backyard, horse farms, all that stuff.
And y'all are big enough you could do commercial?
We do we do commercial. We do government projects. We're working on the armory for the state of Florida right now in Ocala.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't think I've got a whole lot more. All right. We ran over a little bit last week, so we'll let y'all go a little bit early this week.